Welcome to Uncluttered and Unfiltered, the podcast urging you to let it go and don't look back. With nationally acclaimed professional organizer Christine Stone and self-proclaimed hot damn mess radio and TV personality Eden Kendall.
Welcome everyone to Uncluttered and Unfiltered, with a podcast for women over 50. And our subject today, no is a complete sentence.
Which I love. I
no,
love this.
Period.
That's it.
That's it. It's about saying no. It's about not feeling like you have to justify every decision that you make to not attend something, to not give someone something, to not be something for someone.
Right.
So we're going to get to that, and we asked you ladies that are a part of our Ladies Only Uncluttered and Unfiltered Facebook group, which, by the way, is open for anyone to join. If you go to it on Facebook, we'll make sure there's a link in our show notes. We always do. But we asked you to give us some examples of times where you were really proud of yourself because you did say no. So we'll share those. But in the meantime, let's do some catching up, shall we? Because since I last saw you, my husband went for his second colonoscopy, remember, a year ago.
Yes.
I shared the story that I had been bugging him, and finally he conceded, got a colonoscopy, and they found a 5-centimeter polyp. This was last year.
Oh, last
And the doctor
year.
told him, whew, it is a good thing your wife was such a nag, which gave me all kinds of credibility.
Right. Of course.
So he said, I do want to see you back in a year. And let me just, spoiler alert, he's fine. Everything's
Good.
fine. We're in the waiting room, and in walk some old friends of ours.
Oh, my God.
They're parents of our daughter's childhood best friend, and we hadn't seen them in years. And because they always have you get there so early for a colonoscopy visit, we had plenty of time to do all of our catching up, and we were all just tickled by the idea that we're at that age where you run into friends at the colonoscopy appointment.
Yeah, I ran into one of my neighbors in one.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
It's
You're
just,
like,
you know.
haven't eaten in 24 to 48 hours, whatever it is. All you could think about is how you just want to get this over with, and you have to make small little chit-chat. You know
Small
what
chit-chat.
I mean? You're like,
Exactly.
oh, hey, yeah. Saw your garbage can out the other day. It's like, oh, my God, I just want to go in there and get this over with. Anyway.
Exactly. So it was fine seeing them, but when my husband was called back, I said, I have some errands to run, and I left just because I didn't want to then have to wait 40 minutes continuing the conversation, making the husband feel like he had to continue the conversation. So I just went and ran some errands. But colonoscopies are very big business. If you haven't had one, you know, they have these big clinics around. The one in our community is called Borland Groover that we go to, but you may go somewhere different if you live near us. But anyway, it's big, giant business. It's like, you know, clockwork. You know, you're in, you're out. And it's so fast. And we've talked about this before. It's like a spa day. Clear out your pipes.
You know what? The older you get, the more you don't dread it. When you were younger, you're like, I can't eat for 24 hours. I can't do it. I can't drink that stuff. I can't. Now it's like, oh, God, I'm going to get like a cleanse.
Yeah.
And it's going to feel so good.
Good nap.
You get to sleep all day. You get the propofol, which makes everyone happy, even though it's only a few minutes.
Yeah.
Now you look forward to it. What does that say about aging?
Yeah. And when you take a significant other to theirs, you get to see them all loopy, and it's kind of fun.
Yeah, it's
kinda
very
fun.
funny.
So that was one of my stories. The other one was my husband and I went to a concert. Nico Moon is the artist, great country, tropical, Kenny Chesney style, Jimmy Buffett style country artist. But we got to the concert hall. The tickets were given to us. And we walk in, and it is standing room only. It is a stand-up concert.
What?
Now, let me tell you, first of all, I typically do stand for a lot of a concert. I'm that person that I get excited. I'm listening to the music. Everyone stands, and I have no problem with it. No problem with it. But I need to have a seat in case, or for the slow songs, it was standing up.
No seats at all.
So I started getting a little crabby towards like the middle to end. And my husband said, this was so funny. He said, stay with me, honey, stay with me. Yeah, because I'm in heels. I had no idea.
Oh, my God. This is like,
I thought, and I thought to myself, if Christine were here, she'd be saying, this is a nightmare.
Yeah, no. I mean, when we went to both concerts that we went to, not only did we have seats, we had great seats. So can you see me standing?
No, and this was in the same venue that we saw Sean Cassidy.
No way.
They cleared out all those seats. We walked in, I'm like, where are the chairs?
I wonder why they cleared them all.
Because they can fit a whole lot more people, and this was a crowd that can stand.
Oh, it was a crowd that can stand.
Oh, yeah, this is a younger crowd.
Okay.
Yeah.
Need you say more.
I mean, there were
It's the younger crowd.
definitely older folks there, and they were sitting in the seats, but we were gifted these tickets and did not know there was an option, and they were sold out in the seats. So we were in the.
I'm glad you told me, because
You always check at that venue.
That's what I was going to say. In the future, now I'm going to have to wear really comfortable shoes in case I do have to stand.
Well, yeah, just always check on that. Ay is right. Okay, so no is a complete sentence. That was our topic, and so we wanted to find out if our ladies felt empowered at any point in their life thus far to just say no and be done with it, not feel like they had to over-explain themselves. So let's start with Anne. Anne said, I've served on the board of directors for the Women's Business Owners Organization for the last 2 years. When approached this year to see if I'd serve a third year, I politely said no thank you, and I was so proud of myself. And then Sherry chimed in and said she did the same thing for her ladies' golf league. She was the president. And in no uncertain terms, she said, someone else is going to have to step up this year. I'm not doing it anymore. And there's a feeling of pride there instead of guilt.
Yep. And that's a lot of work. When you're the president or you're in charge of a whole group of people, everything lays in your lap, and it's a lot of work.
I think you're going to enjoy this one from Sherry. Another Sherry. A 22-year-old family member asked to move in with me for 6 months to save money. They've stayed with me in the past without any real problems, but I just didn't want to say yes this time. I finally said that I hope it didn't cause any hard feelings, but for my own personal reason, I needed to say no. They said no problem, and I felt immediately relieved.
I 100% agree with her. I'm just going to say that. Now, my husband, on the other hand, would let anybody stay in our house. There would be no requirements, okay? I, on the other hand, am her. I'd be like, I got to say no. I got to get out of this. How can I get out of this? But once I said it, I'd feel like her, like so much relief. I'm so glad I said that, and it's behind me and over. I agree. The older you get, you want a bunch of people like staying in your house. I mean, it's one thing for a weekend. What if they don't get on their feet? What if it's longer?
Our son moved back from another city, and he was paying rent in the other city. So we're like, of course, move in with us, save some money so you're not paying double rent, and then also stay a little longer, bank some money so you can move out. And I asked him the other day how the search was going, and he's like, it's good. I'm holding off a little longer because I don't want a roommate. And I said, we didn't want a roommate again either. We didn't. He said, I don't want a roommate again. I'm getting too old for that. And I said, so are we.
Yeah. And by the way, once you've had the empty nest and you have to go backwards, you're not happy about it. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly. Amy says, I may have mentioned this before. That won't work is my best way to shut someone down or say no. And it doesn't spark any questions or debate. An example is, she said, when she first moved to Florida from Indiana, everyone and their brother wanted to visit. It was fun at first, and then it became work, and everyone was in vacation mode but us, and it got expensive and tiring. And so finally, when people would say, hey, I'm going to be in town, we'd love to come visit, she would say, well, that won't work, and it just kind of ends the conversation right there.
You know what? I'm going to start saying,
oh, that just won't work.
I'm sorry, that won't work for me. And then you don't have to say a reason why. I think that's when people feel bad or guilty because they got to come up with a good lie. You know what I mean? On why that won't work. If you just say that won't work for me.
Yeah. That won't work for me because it'll put me in a bad mood.
Exactly.
Can you imagine waiting 11 years to get screened for cancer? On average, people with mental health issues experience an 11-year delay between symptoms and seeking help, and close to 2/3 of mental illnesses go untreated. Hearts for Minds promotes healthy lives by promoting mental health education, facilitating early identification, and connecting people to treatment. Are you ready to learn more? Go to heartsforminds.org. Hearts, FOUR, minds.org for more information and to learn how you can help. Rena says, wow, I have said no before, but always felt it necessary to add why I said no. As I've gotten older, I realize that no is a complete sentence, and it's very liberating to not feel like I have to say more. Good, good.
And I think that's what happens when you are over 50. You start to say, I don't need to say more. I don't need to say more.
When I turned 50, I said my resolution for turning 50 is I will no longer do optional things that I don't like.
Right.
And now, if someone asks me to do something that I don't want to do, I don't necessarily say no and leave it at that. I might say, honestly, I honestly just don't want to. I just don't want to. But there are times.
I always say absolutely not.
Well, yeah.
That ain't happening.
Yeah.
And I made a list of things that are non-negotiable.
Okay, let's hear them.
Okay. I have had, when we were out of the country, whatever, bungee jumping. Absolutely not. Will never happen, no matter if everyone's doing it. Everyone's going, okay, if everyone jumped off a bridge or a roof, I'm not doing that either.
Okay, I'm with you on that. That
Okay.
is a hard no.
No bungee jumping.
Hard
no
no.
skydiving. No
I've
riding.
skydived before.
Oh, no way.
But I wouldn't do it again.
Never, ever, never. And I mean, my husband's like you. He's very adventurous and likes to do weird stuff like that. No offense. I know you jumped out of a plane. But also going on small planes, like really small planes.
I don't love it.
Like puddle jumper planes, I call it. Absolutely not. Never. And I'm like, has nobody watched the La Bamba story, the Patsy Cline story? I mean, you could go
Love
on.
Story, John F. Kennedy Jr.
I mean, every single one of them were on these. John Denver, every single one of them were on these little puddle jumpers. No way. Also, shoes that are uncomfortable. I just bought the cutest pair of shoes. I wore them twice. When I tell you they had me hunched over like a little old lady. My feet were in such pain. And so I consigned them. I said, I know I've only worn them twice. I shouldn't have bought them. Now, the old me would have kept them anyway and probably suffered through it, if you want to know the truth, just because I paid money for them and blah, blah, blah. Non-negotiable now. Big fat no.
I saw an Instagram reel or a TikTok the other day, and it's a man, and he says, your wife is wearing heels, and he takes these flip-flops and he's putting them inside his own socks to carry with him.
I saw that.
It's so funny. It
Yeah.
reminds me of that Modern Family episode where they go to the amusement park and Gloria's wearing high heels and she's crabby. And then she breaks a heel, so they have to buy her some slippers. And she's wearing the slippers and she becomes very delightful.
Isn't that funny how that happens?
Yeah,
I mean,
so hard no on uncomfortable shoes. Please continue.
No drama. If there's
Okay.
any girl drama, any drama, if we're out somewhere where people start fighting, I just get up and I cannot handle drama anymore of any kind. I don't want to see it. I don't want to be around it. I think that, especially like everywhere you go now, it just causes you anxiety.
Sure.
It really does. It just, the rest of the night, you're like, okay, I wonder if that person was okay. Well, that person was mean and blah, 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 blah. Who needs this?
We're too old for that.
You don't. And okay, the other thing is, now you haven't given this one up yet, even though you think you have, but I know you haven't.
Okay.
An overpacked schedule. I gave that up and I do not regret it. And I love that I say no to so much stuff because I just think I can't do the overpacked schedule anymore.
You're correct. I thought I gave it up, but I slipped back into
I know. I know
ways.
you did. I know you did.
So-
I didn't say anything, but I knew you did.
Yeah, yeah.
But-
yeah, guilty. And you're right. And I like to be reminded because I have really booked myself for this next week or two. And so I need to get through these next couple of weeks and then
But
I'm gonna
that's
try
the
to go back.
mentality.
Right. So I'm going to go back. And they're fun things, but it does take a little bit of the shine off something that's really fun
Right.
because you have so many things in the same week.
And I always find myself saying when I'm overbooked, okay, I just need to get through this one thing. And then I'll have that thing. And like where I'm talking to
Yes.
myself. And that thing will go quick because it's only supposed to be this amount of time. And then the last thing will come and I'll just make it through. I can do it. And
Yeah.
you're like,
You're right.
really?
No, I've never once thought it was a good idea to do it. I just always do.
Yeah. So that's my list of
It's a good
And I'm
list.
probably have more, but I won't bore everybody with all my no's. But I do honestly believe no is a complete sentence. No period.
No, period.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have gotten better with my no, period. But mostly I'm happy to tell people it's just not something I really want to do.
Right.
So I'm just going
Right.
to, I'm going to take a pass. And we want you to feel empowered to do that as well. And when it comes to, we always try to slide a little organizational tip into each of these episodes. And Christine was on television this morning, so I know it's fresh on her mind. Did you talk spring cleaning? What was your topic?
How to organize and spring clean your closet on a budget.
On a budget.
Ideas, inexpensive ways
Okay.
to
And
spring
I'm
clean.
sure what you shared was that you can find a lot of these different tools on Amazon and on
Oh,
Walmart.
and Walmart. I mean, you can. That's the thing. Everyone thinks it costs a lot of money to get organized, but really, if you stick to the rules of purging first, sorting the like items, and then buying what you need to organize what you have left, and going to the inexpensive routes of getting things, it doesn't have to cost a lot of money to get organized.
I think a lot of people still make the mistake of going to the store, buying a bunch of things, thinking having these things are what is going to inspire them to then do the work.
And it's so wrong.
It's backwards.
It's backwards. Also, saying this no is when people keep trying to give you things. Just saying, "Oh, I'd love to, but I don't have the room. Thank you so much, but no, I'm not going to take anybody else's stuff." Because I see a lot of older people, parents giving them to their kids, and their kids, the younger generation is great with the word no. I do have to say, where they don't beat around the bush. No, I don't want it. No, get rid of it. No, they're great. So that's part of when you are getting rid of things, people having the ability to say, no, I don't want that.
Okay, so there you go. That's how organization ties into no is a complete
Yes.
sentence.
Yes.
So whether it's that you've been invited out somewhere that you just would rather be in bed with a good book, or you are being gifted your great Aunt Edna's China cat, you can let it go.
And don't look back.